I'm talking about waking up the God inside of you. I'm talking about when our people are put in situations of adversity, that's when we shine the best. Under pressure, that's when we turn into Black Diamonds.
God from Kill Life Productions, hiphopisreal.com. We are in Atlanta at the Black Power Awards with a legend in the flesh, Dr. Leonard Jeffries. Peace. How you doing today, Doctor?
I'm fine, Hotep brother, and to the family. We've just experienced, and we're in the middle of experience, a most wonderful event here in the Atlanta suburbs. And this is the first of the annual Black Power Awards. And really, it is a wonder. The spirit here, the family connection, given the heavy weight of this election and the year that we had to go through and have it end like it did with the system coming up with some okie doke. But this, you don't feel none of that here. This is the antidote to all of that. And so, and I was very honored to get a Black Power Award in terms of education and culture. And the award is not for me. It's for my partners. It's for the Twin Towers of Light out of Harlem that are eternal, Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark. The Twin Towers of glass and steel in southern Manhattan in the Wall Street area collapsed with just one plane crashing into one another. Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark gave us the gift that keeps on giving, the history, the real history. And with that, we can transform our world, transform our babies, transform our marriages, transform our community. So for them to have this honor bestowed on me, my partners are there. You got the elders, Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark, and then their associates, Dr. Chancellor Williams out of Howard, and then Leo Hansberry, who helped to make a way for Dr. Chancellor Williams. And you have my immediate partners, Dr. Asa Hilliard, he was the best of us, and his cousin, Dr. Jacob Carruthers, and the sisters, so that when we understand what this, I have never seen so beautiful looking sisters and than this affair. The jewelry, the hair, the movement,
beautiful dresses,
the flow, and so this is marvelous. And for it to be at the Epic Center, because this was a vision of my family, the Broners, and they had said they're going to create this Epic Center, spent $30 or so million. And last year when we did go to the Word of Faith Center, after it was over, one of the secretaries brought us in to see the Epic Center. It was marvelous to see it, but to see it alive, what looks like virtual thousands of us here. And so indeed, any copies of this that can be circulated would be a great benefit to our people, that we can be triumphant in the face of this monstrosity that's happening. And it's much deeper than any of us realize around Trump. But it will affirm us. It will let us know that we got to depend upon us. It's us raising us that's important, and that's one of the themes of this annual award process. So we got a dilemma because we're in the American system, but we have a greater dilemma. We are more than the American system, and we have to establish a power of Black power linkages around the world with African people. So there's a global African family that we are key players in. We still have to deal with the U.S. because we're here as citizens, and we got deep roots here. But that's not the only game in town. And in fact, that's not the most important game in town. We need to integrate with ourselves, not to integrate with people that sometimes bear us and tolerate us, and other times they're coming at us with all 4 feet. So this is one of the great moments of our struggle in our experience, and it's a very positive one. So Professor, leave the ladies alone and come on here and get on the TV. This is my partner in struggle, Professor James Small. We are, you talk about a brotherhood with Dr. Asa Hilliard and his cousin, Dr. Jacob Carruthers. Talking about a brotherhood with Naim Akbar and Dr. Wade Nobles. But there's a special brotherhood with Professor James Small and myself. And certainly, I couldn't do the things that I've been doing over the last 40 years without having the protection that he brings, because he was with Malcolm and Malcolm's sister Ella at the crucial point where Malcolm made his transition and then was putting in place the OAAU and Muslim Mosque Incorporated. And so Professor Smalls is a very special brother. Now the ladies like him because he's tall and handsome, but he's married. He got a wife and children and grandchildren.
Dr. Leonard Jeffries, I just wanted to ask you, now that, you know, us young guys, you know, the new generation, the young kids, they have YouTube, they have Facebook, they have all this social media, all this information.
Yeah, but it's not serious.
Exactly. So I want to understand how hard
knowledge should
guys.
be used to elevate.
Okay.
Knowledge should be used to empower. Knowledge shouldn't be used to play games. And so we've got to raise that knowledge level to a real, because there's a real struggle in the world against us. There's a war against us.
Like a seriousness.
Yes, and so we've got to take the knowledge that we have in the context. Africans understood that the knowledge is not to be messed with, so it was passed mouth to ear in the societies of secrets, because it was so sacred. You have to have a responsibility of using the knowledge correctly. So we've got to catch up on that understanding and do that.
Because I look at, you know, what you guys have done. You know, you had to travel outside the country. You guys were facing like outright racism, like it was a little more
I have 4 bulletproof vests and a flak jacket. People don't understand that by my raising the truth as hard and strong as I did, that meant a death knell. I have death threats. They try to kill my mother.
Wow.
As well as my father. And so but we're on a victorious path. We have come from the system of white supremacy declaring us as non-humans to the point that we're beginning to restore who we are, and we are the foundations, the mothers and fathers of civilization and culture.
And just for what advice do you have for the young guys out here who are teaching, who are, you know, spreading information?
The more you know, the more you realize you don't know, and the more humble you need to be. You can't get arrogant with the knowledge. You have to have the knowledge, and the more you learn about the mysteries and whatnot, you learn that you have to be humble with the knowledge. And so we're at a low level of dealing with the knowledge in terms of survival. We have to move to a high level and deal with developmental culture, where we control our economics, we control our politics, and we control our culture for the larger good. And so, unfortunately, some of our people don't have the whole thing, and they have what I call a paralysis of analysis.
What is that?
In other words, when you don't have the whole information and you're not digging deep to find it, you get what I call a paralysis of analysis. And so you make judgments based upon the lack of knowledge.
The little information you do know.
That's right. And then you make serious judgment.
Wow.
So
how do we get on the right path? You know what I'm saying?
Clearly this is the right path.
Okay.
In other words, it's clearly the right path. And so we're blessed that people conceived of this and they carried it out. I was fearful that there might be some conflicts and people might be acting out personal things. That's the paralysis of analysis. We have to see our role, our sacred mission is to raise African people as God's chosen.
Okay.
And so that's what we really have to be about.
I speak to a lot of people about, you know, going back to Africa. That's what a lot of people saying that's a solution and things. But you've made an important point saying that we also have a long history here. Some people don't want to just leave.
We have a history all over the whole planet is ours.
Okay.
The father continent is Africa, the Garden of Eden of all human race. But our role is to strengthen African peoples in the Caribbean and Brazil and South America. And so all of us, 50 million in America, are not going to go back to Africa. And so we need to be a global people.
Okay.
So wherever we are, we need to Africanize and take that knowledge to empower. You need to speak truth to power to let it know that you're serious. But in order to make it real and to build on it, you have to speak truth to empower. In other words, you have to put the knowledge in the hands of our people so they can grow and develop. You don't put it in the hands of the people so you can just beat back the enemy, etc.
So we cater right now. I had a restaurant in Kentucky.
And you know, how do you see the youth now in America? You know, 2016. You look back. You know, you've been around the block. You've seen a lot of things come and go.
I've had thousands in my classes. I've been teaching for almost 50 years.
Wow, that's amazing.
So wherever I go, I see the students. So the students are the future. You can't put any responsibility on them that does not have a connected responsibility with the elders. We should be teaching the students. We work so hard to be a part of America. We got the double cars and this and that we neglected to a great extent making sure that the students, our children in our responsibility got an understanding of struggle, understanding of sacrifice, understanding of growth, and the understanding of us coming from being virtual non-humans to realizing we are the human family.
Yes.
And so that creates that you have to have another concept. Brother Dr. Wade Nobles, and I should have mentioned it, said it best. African people everywhere suffer greatly from a shattered consciousness and a fractured identity. And so that's what Brother Smalls, he knows better than any of us what Dr. Wade Nobles was trying to do with his Africanized concepts of the mind and the culture. And so it looked like he ain't gonna be finished with that.
And you know, how do we connect? Because me personally, I do want to go to Africa. I've heard Professor James Small speak about Ghana and things like that. How do we go there? Because you know, we have a different mindset. We look at things different. You know, we're not 100% sure on how the Africans are going to accept us.
There's no one Africa.
Okay.
There's diversity in Africa.
Okay.
There's the urban African. There's the rural African. There's the traditional African.
Y'all over here talking about African.
There's the African that wants to be African that wants to be us. They want to be Negroes. And there are many of us who want to be Africans. We're all one African family at different stages of consciousness.
That's why you see us all with one finger.
That's right. And so Professor James Smalls has spent all the time that I have known him trying to unravel the mysteries of our culture and its spirituality. And so he is the leading expert for me on the planet in terms of dealing with the various cultures we had and the different levels that we had them at the different time frames. And because he believes in partnership with our brothers and with our sisters, he benefits from other traditions. So his night and day effort, even though he's got a beautiful wife, a talented medical doctor, he's got his children, and they got their children, he still finds time to spend his important efforts trying to unravel this whole thing on how do we fit the spirituality in a difficult situation of taking religious traditions that other people borrowed and they've affected our minds. So our brother Dr. Wade Nobles is one of the best in understanding that process, so they work together as one in finding the unraveling of how we got stuck in these religions that aren't going to let us grow into our understanding of the universe and our real sacred mission and divine process. So, but our people, that's what they were offered. They didn't have the experience of a Jeffries going to Africa 100 times or a Smalls. And so we've got to understand that they're in a difficult situation. That's the Negro dilemma. How do you break out of that into an African understanding of the universe?
Professor James Smalls.
And then in the meantime, I got to go back and catch up with the sister who I told her I'm going to go to the bathroom first a half an hour ago, and then you can go. I hope she has sense enough.
How is it seeing Professor Leonard Jeffries getting an award today?
It was fantastic. It's more than overdue. We've been friends for 50 years. That's a long time.
Wow.
To know somebody from 69 to now almost 50 years.
And his children are my godchildren. I have a picture of his baby, Agnaton. I'm holding him. He's playing with my kufi, and then I'm handing my nephew a check. We improvised a rites of passage, and he's sitting on a stool, and I'm giving my brother $1,000 to get a computer for them. That was in the 80s, James.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And that young man who was on the stool at 12 or 13 is now Congressman Hakeem Jeffries.
Wow.
And so it's our family, and then James, his daughters, you know, it's a family affair. And if you don't understand it as that and you think it's just you, then it's unfortunate. And he, like Dr. Clark said he was what he was because of 3 deities in his life. His mother, his grandmother, and his 5th grade school teacher, Evelina Taylor. And Brother Smalls is the same way. He's got these strong women that helped. He's always talking about them.
My elementary school teacher is 95 years old.
That's right.
We talk every month.
Wow.
And then he had his mother and his grandmother.
Mother.
And I was trying to tell the story of the woman I called on to do it. She raised my father and didn't miss a beat. She raised him with her son as if he was her son. So if we understand family, we can understand whatever this message that Trump represents,
it ain't nothing. We're not in Trump world. Trump is in the black world.
What it does is it lets us see the fullness of the system. It don't make any difference whether it's Hillary Clinton or whether it's Trump. It's their system. And you know, we've tried to survive in it, and we've done a reasonable job, but we have to thrive. And so in order to do that, we've got to control economics, politics, and culture for our benefit and not for the benefit of the system.
I seen a Malcolm X clip going around where he's saying exactly that. Like, he was speaking about, I believe, a president that was running at that time, and he said if he gets into office, it'll bring black people together. And then people are using that clip now for Trump.
Okay, well, that's good.
And it did. What we got to do once we get together, stay together. That's why Dr. Jeffries is talking about economic, politics, and culture. And Malcolm spoke about it. Malcolm said black nationalism means that you control the economic, politics, and culture in the communities you live.
That's right.
So,
I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you. And where could they follow you in the movement you have? And
well, we set up a foundation, the Doctors Rosalind and Leonard Jeffries Foundation, to try to deal with legacy.
Okay.
Because it's not about personalities. Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark weren't personalities. They were special spirits that were brought here to carry this enormous opening of the way. And then other people like the Dr. Asa Hilliards and the J. Carruthers made their contribution, and the sisters made their contribution. And we have been able to, and one of the reasons why we've been able to make it, because we see each other as families, not as rivals.
Okay.
And we've been able to destroy the rivalry that could become destructive. And that's when you understand that the Africans sit down and they have a palaver. They talk the thing out. You see? They don't say, well, I'm going to get you and get your mama because you did something to me 25 years ago.
Okay.
So we have to use an African formulation, Africanize our lives. And people might be able to make 2 steps into it. Some of people can go hold in. Brother Small is in all kinds of societies dealing with African knowledge and African empowerment. Wade Noble's also. And so we've got to develop an understanding that this is our time. There's a great awakening taking place around our people.
And we saw that inside here today.
That's right.
And these are the young people everybody says lost, but they showed you today.
The youth came through today.
But lost.
That's right.
Definitely. And you said the people could go to donate on the website as well, or?
Well, if people want to contact me, they call my home number, which is 201-837-1355. Let me repeat it, 201-837-1355. And then we can tell them how they can make a contribution.
Okay.
He's in control. He's the master of his masters. I can do business with you, right? Master's talking to a master.
I've never been to a black meeting, black event with this much love. The elders, the youth, the commerce, the rappers, the MCs, the elders, everything is here is beautiful, man. And all the nominees, prestigious input into the community across the board in the country. It's an awesome thing that Brother DJ and the committee put together. And I'm appreciative of it, bro.
Like Prince, red and blue, purple 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 like Prince. We feeling the urge, feeling the purge, buzzers electric, we feeling the surge, feeling the words, killing killing the birds with immunity, pillars of unity. This is the formula of Voltron. This is the age of the Ultron. This is same stage as the Pope bomb. This is the sage you can smoke on. Copper pound, came on the scene, I was copper down. All I was missing was copper crown. Summer 16, I turned copper brown. Look for revenge in the copper town. Capping New Jersey and copper crown. 21 guns, salute chopper sound. My power pieces, the crystals be talking, the cloth that be talking. King County clothing, yeah, king of New York, and I'm Christopher Walken, the missiles embarking.
Tell me, who the real villain? The one crack dealing or oil drilling? You in my motherland and you killing all her children. Your dollars ain't backed by nothing, fuck your millions. I'll pop your cantaloupe, they'll poison the melons and feed them to your children. What you think is Thanksgiving? Yo, if I was there, I would've killed the pilgrims. Broke now, my forefathers fumbled billions, trillions. But I keep it trilling, cause my inner wealth never diminished. Far from gimmicks, niggas will spill the beans without spilling they Guinness. I won't stop till my neck froze, till my neck gold, till my whole set hold. When I cash checks, bank rolls, no stack, shit can't fold. Can't trust you, your man told. Sentence the greatest to the hellhole. They throw dirt on my name, but it never stuck like Velcro. Came back clean on them. Glock 9 got the infrared beam on them. I remember I was smoking with a bitch named Keisha. Game time, I was in the